Ethan Brooks sat in the pilot's seat of the Starhawk, staring at the endless stretch of stars in front of him. The hum of the ship was steady, almost soothing, but his mind was racing. The signal had been strange, unlike anything he had seen before. It was not a distress call, and it did not seem like a message from another human settlement. The readings suggested something alive, something intelligent, but alien. He adjusted the controls and brought up the signal again. It pulsed faintly, coming from a planet that had not been charted on any human map. Ethan's heart beat faster. This was why he had joined the Exploration Corps. Discovering the unknown was part of who he was, but he also knew that unknowns could be dangerous. "Ethan," a soft voice called from the co-pilot's seat. He turned to see Lyra. She was small, with pale blue skin and wide, bright eyes that seemed to see everything at once. Her hair flowed like silver strands, and she moved with a grace Ethan found both strange and fascinating. "This is it," she said, pointing to the monitor. "The signal is coming from that planet. It is not human." Ethan nodded. "I know. Let's hope it's friendly." Lyra tilted her head, studying him. "Hope is not enough. We must be careful." He smiled faintly. Lyra had been traveling with him for several weeks, ever since they had met at a research station near the edge of explored space. She had refused to speak in anything other than her own language at first, but somehow, through gestures and expressions, they had begun to understand each other. He did not know much about her world, but he trusted her instincts. The Starhawk entered the planet's orbit. Ethan gazed down at the surface below. The planet was covered in lush green forests, with rivers that shimmered like silver threads. There were mountains that glowed faintly at their peaks, as if the sunlight touched them in a strange way. Lyra's eyes widened. "It is alive in a way I have never felt before. The energy, it is strong here." Ethan frowned. "Energy? Like what?" She shrugged. "I do not know the words you would understand. But something is different here. The life, the air, even the soil. It is alive with it." Ethan felt a shiver run down his spine. He had read about planets that were dangerous or unstable, but this was different. He could feel it too, a strange pull, as if the planet itself wanted them there. They landed the Starhawk in a small clearing near the edge of a forest. The ship's engines hummed softly as it touched the ground. Ethan unbuckled his seatbelt and grabbed his exploration pack. Lyra followed silently, her eyes scanning the surroundings. The forest was thick and full of life. Strange plants with glowing leaves brushed against Ethan's shoulders as he walked. The air smelled sweet and fresh, unlike anything he had breathed before. Birds with translucent wings flitted through the trees, leaving trails of light in their wake. "This place, it is beautiful," Ethan whispered. Lyra nodded. "It is beautiful, but it hides things. Be careful." As they moved deeper into the forest, the signal grew stronger. It led them to a small valley surrounded by cliffs. At the center of the valley was a tiny clearing, and there, lying on the soft grass, was a baby. Ethan froze. The baby looked human, but there was something strange about him. His skin glowed faintly, and his eyes seemed too bright, too aware for one so young. He lay quietly, watching them with curiosity rather than fear. Lyra stepped closer. "He is alone, but he is not ordinary. I can feel it, his energy. It is strong, very strong." Ethan knelt beside the baby, careful not to scare him. "Hey there," he said softly. "Are you okay?" The baby cooed, a sound that was almost musical. Ethan reached out to pick him up, and the moment he touched the baby, the air around them shimmered. Leaves floated gently into the air, and a small gust of wind spiraled around them. Ethan's eyes widened. "What? What did he just do?" he asked, looking at Lyra. She frowned. "I do not know, but it is a sign. His power is real. He is not like other children." Ethan carefully lifted the baby into his arms. The warmth from the child was comforting, but Ethan could feel the energy thrumming beneath his skin. The baby wriggled happily, and a small smile appeared on his face. Ethan laughed softly. "Well, little one, looks like you've got us all wondering." Lyra watched him closely. "We cannot stay here. Others may come. The signal could attract attention. He is too important to be left unprotected." Ethan nodded. "Then we take him with us. We'll figure this out, I promise." They returned to the Starhawk. Ethan carefully secured the baby in a small cradle he had set up for emergencies. Lyra hovered nearby, her senses alert, scanning the forest for any signs of danger. As they took off, Ethan looked down at the planet. It was peaceful now. But he could not shake the feeling that the baby had drawn them there for a reason. During the journey back to their station, Ethan tried to learn more about the baby. He checked his vitals and examined his small hands. There were no signs of injury or illness, but the energy readings from his body were off the charts. "Do you think he's human?" Ethan asked quietly. Lyra shook her head. "He is human, yes, but he is also more. His energy is linked to something beyond your understanding. He is special." Ethan looked at the baby again. Noah, he had decided to call him, felt warm and alive in his arms. There was an innocence in his gaze, but also a power that seemed to reach out and touch the world. Ethan had never felt anything like it. Hours passed, and the baby slept peacefully. Ethan found himself talking to him, telling him stories about Earth, about humans, about hope and courage. Lyra watched silently, but Ethan noticed her lips curve into a small smile. "He likes you," she said finally. Ethan chuckled softly. "I think I like him more." Night fell on the Starhawk. The stars outside the window seemed closer than usual, almost like they were watching over them. Ethan stared at the baby, thinking about what lay ahead. There would be dangers. There would be questions with no answers. But for the first time in a long while, he felt a sense of purpose that went beyond exploration. Lyra leaned against the wall. "You will need to protect him. There are those who will want his power for themselves. It is not safe for him to be human or alone." Ethan nodded. "I know, but we'll figure it out. Together." The baby stirred, opening his eyes. For a moment, Ethan thought he saw the tiniest flicker of light around his fingers, a shimmer that vanished as quickly as it appeared. Noah smiled, reaching up toward Ethan's face. Ethan held him closer. "Don't worry, little one. We won't let anything happen to you." Lyra touched the baby's arm lightly. "He trusts you. That is a good sign. But trust alone is not enough. We must learn more, quickly." Ethan nodded again. He looked out at the stars, feeling the weight of responsibility settle on his shoulders. The galaxy was vast, full of dangers and wonders. And now, in his arms, he held a child who might change everything. As the Starhawk moved through the darkness of space, Ethan knew that their journey was only beginning. He did not know what powers the baby truly held or what threats awaited them. But he knew this: humans, with their courage and creativity, could face anything, even the mysteries of the cosmos. And somewhere deep inside, he felt a spark of hope. The baby's light was not just in him. It was in humanity, too, waiting to be discovered, waiting to shine across the stars. For now, all Ethan could do was watch over Noah and trust that, together with Lyra, they could unravel the mystery of the baby's true power. The journey had begun, and nothing would ever be the same again. The Starhawk drifted through space, its engines glowing softly against the darkness of the stars. Ethan Brooks sat in the cockpit, his hands on the controls, but his thoughts were on the baby. Noah lay in a small cradle beside him, staring up at the ceiling with wide, curious eyes. He cooed quietly, and sometimes the faint shimmer of his energy lit the room, like a soft glow that came and went without warning. Lyra sat across from Ethan, her silver hair catching the light of the ship's control panels. She watched Noah closely, her eyes narrowing slightly as she studied the baby's subtle movements. "He is strong," she said finally. "Stronger than I expected. The energy around him, it is growing." Ethan looked at her. "Growing? What do you mean?" Lyra hesitated. "I mean, he is learning to control it, even if he does not know it. Every moment he is awake, his connection to this power increases. It is as if he is discovering who he is meant to be." Ethan frowned. "Do you think it's safe?" She shook her head. "Not completely. But he is not alone. That matters." Ethan nodded, feeling a mix of pride and fear. He had never cared for a child before. And now he was responsible for one who might have abilities beyond anything humans had ever seen. He did not know if he could keep Noah safe, but he knew he had to try. Hours passed in quiet observation. Ethan monitored Noah's vital signs and energy levels, noting how the baby's small body seemed to react to the ship's movements and the passing of stars. Noah occasionally reached out with tiny hands, and when he did, Ethan sometimes felt the faint brush of energy against his own skin. It was never dangerous, but it was unlike anything Ethan had ever experienced. Lyra approached, kneeling beside the cradle. "He responds to you," she said softly. "The energy he shows. It strengthens when you are near him. Your human nature, your courage, your empathy, it calls to him." Ethan smiled faintly. "So, humans are part of the reason he can do this?" Lyra nodded. "Yes, humans have something others do not. That is why he is different. That is why he needs both of us." Ethan looked down at Noah. The baby had already begun to show small signs of curiosity and awareness that went beyond a normal child. His eyes followed Ethan and Lyra around the room. He tried to reach for objects that floated nearby, and sometimes they moved slightly before his hands touched them. "It's subtle," Lyra whispered, "but it is there. He is learning faster than he should." Ethan felt a chill run down his spine. The baby in his arms was innocent, fragile, and yet powerful beyond imagination. He thought about the planets humans had destroyed, the wars they had fought, and the technology they had built. And he realized that Noah's abilities could either heal the galaxy or destroy it. They spent the next day in quiet study. Ethan tried simple games with Noah, moving small objects within reach and watching as the baby occasionally made them shift slightly without touching them. Lyra took notes, drawing strange symbols in a book she carried, attempting to map the patterns of the baby's energy. "It is not just physical," she explained. "It is mental, emotional, spiritual. His energy responds to feelings, to ideas, to hope." Ethan nodded slowly. "So if he is happy, he is stronger?" "Yes," Lyra said. "And if he is scared, it becomes unstable. That is why he must feel safe. That is why he must trust us." As evening fell on the Starhawk, Ethan leaned back in his seat. Noah slept quietly in the cradle, the faint glow of his energy pulsing in rhythm with his breathing. Ethan could not stop thinking about the baby's future. He wondered if anyone else in the galaxy would understand what Noah truly was. He wondered if anyone else would try to take him. "I worry," he said quietly, more to himself than to Lyra. She glanced at him, her expression unreadable. "You should. There are always those who will see what is different as something to control. But your worry alone will not protect him. Your actions will." Ethan nodded. He understood her words, but the weight of responsibility pressed heavily on his shoulders. He thought about the human colonies he had visited, the explorers he had met, and the countless threats that lurked in space. Noah was more than a baby. He was a symbol, a power, and perhaps a weapon. The next morning, as the Starhawk passed through a bright cluster of stars, the ship's sensors detected an anomaly. Ethan and Lyra rushed to the control panels, watching as the readings flickered and shifted. "Something is following us," Ethan said, frowning. "It's not a normal ship. It's moving too fast, too silently." Lyra's eyes narrowed. "I feel it. It is drawn to him. It knows of his power." Ethan's stomach tightened. "Then we need to hide him fast." They maneuvered the Starhawk toward a dense asteroid field, hoping to use the rocks and debris for cover. The pursuing ship, sleek and dark, followed, easily weaving through the field with precision that suggested experience and intent. Ethan gritted his teeth, steering the Starhawk with every bit of skill he had. Noah stirred in his cradle, sensing the tension. His small hands reached out, and for a moment, a wave of energy pulsed around the Starhawk. Instruments flickered and alarms beeped as the ship shuddered. Ethan caught the controls, struggling to maintain stability. What is he doing?" Ethan shouted, looking at Lyra. "He is trying to help," Lyra shouted back. "He does not know, but his energy can protect us." The pursuing ship faltered, as if something invisible pushed against it. Ethan realized that Noah's instinctive powers had activated, creating a protective shield around the Starhawk. He felt a mix of fear and awe. The baby was only months old, yet he could influence technology, energy, even gravity around them. "We need to get somewhere safe," Ethan said firmly. "Somewhere we can understand this." Lyra nodded. "There is a planet nearby. It is uninhabited by any civilization, but it has ancient knowledge hidden there. If we can reach it, we may learn more about him." Ethan adjusted the course. The Starhawk dove deeper into the asteroid field, dodging massive rocks and debris while Noah's energy pulsed around them. For the first time, Ethan truly understood what Lyra meant when she said the baby's power was tied to human traits. Noah had sensed fear, and yet he had acted with courage and instinct to protect them. Hours later, they emerged from the asteroid field and approached the planet. It was small, with a surface covered in rocky plains and jagged cliffs. Strange structures jutted from the ground, remnants of a civilization long gone. The planet felt silent, yet alive with hidden energy. "This is it," Lyra said. "The archive is here. The knowledge we seek is buried beneath the rocks and ruins. He will learn, and we will learn too." Ethan landed the Starhawk carefully on a flat plateau. He looked at Noah, who had calmed now that the immediate danger had passed. The baby yawned and curled into Ethan's arms, still glowing faintly. "We'll be safe here," Ethan said softly. "For now, at least." Lyra led the way toward the ruins. The structures were massive, carved from stone and metal that seemed to resist the passage of time. Strange symbols were etched into the walls, and faint energy pulses ran along the surfaces. "This place was built for beings like him," Lyra said, her voice filled with awe. "It holds the knowledge of children who can shape worlds. Perhaps it will tell us why he is different, why he is human, and yet more." Ethan followed, holding Noah carefully. He felt the weight of responsibility, but also hope. The baby's power was extraordinary, but it was tied to the human spirit. Courage, curiosity, empathy, these were things no machine or alien technology could replicate. And perhaps that was why Noah was here. Perhaps the universe needed him, and it needed humans, more than anyone had realized. As they entered the main chamber of the ruins, Ethan noticed symbols that glowed faintly when Noah approached. The baby reached out, his tiny fingers brushing a stone tablet. A wave of energy pulsed through the room, activating holographic projections that lit up the walls with scenes of strange worlds, alien beings, and children like Noah. Lyra gasped. "It recognizes him." He is not just human, he is the link, the bridge, the one who can connect humans to this energy. Ethan stared at the glowing baby. For the first time, he truly understood what Lyra had been saying. Noah's power was not just a gift, it was a responsibility. It was proof that humans, with their hearts and minds, could shape the universe in ways others could not. And as Noah smiled up at him, reaching out with small hands, Ethan knew that their journey had only just begun. The answers were here, hidden in this ancient place, but the dangers would not wait. Somewhere in the galaxy, those who wanted to use Noah's power for themselves were still out there, and they would come. But for now, in this quiet chamber, with the baby glowing softly in his arms, Ethan felt hope. The human spirit, he realized, was stronger than anyone could imagine, and Noah, small as he was, might be the greatest proof of all. The ruins were quiet, but the air around them felt alive. Ethan Brooks carried Noah carefully as he and Lyra walked through the ancient corridors. The walls glowed faintly where symbols had been etched long ago. Every step they took sent tiny vibrations through the stone floors, and Ethan could feel the energy of the place pulsing softly beneath his feet. Noah's eyes were wide, following every flicker of light and movement. Sometimes his tiny hands reached out, and the faint glow around him responded, causing small projections of light to dance across the walls. Ethan couldn't help but marvel at the baby's abilities. Lyra had been right. He was extraordinary, more than any human or alien Ethan had ever encountered. "This place is incredible," Ethan said softly. "Do you think it will tell us everything about him?" Lyra shook her head. "No, it will tell us only part of the story. The rest, he will discover himself, with guidance." As they reached a large central chamber, Ethan felt a strange tension in the air. The chamber was circular, with a pedestal in the center. Strange, holographic symbols hovered above it, and energy pulsed outward in waves that made the hair on Ethan's arms stand on end. Noah cooed and wriggled in his arms, reaching toward the pedestal. "He senses it," Lyra whispered. "He knows this is important." Ethan stepped closer, gently lowering Noah toward the pedestal. As Noah's fingers brushed the surface, the symbols flared brighter, and a wave of energy rolled through the room. Ethan stumbled backward, holding Noah tightly as he felt a faint push against his chest. The baby giggled, and the energy seemed to respond to his happiness, forming patterns in the air like ribbons of light. "This is amazing," Ethan said, his voice trembling. "He's controlling it somehow." Lyra nodded. "Not controlling yet, but influencing. He is learning, and he is powerful." Suddenly, the calm of the ruins was shattered. Ethan's sensors beeped urgently, warning of approaching ships. He looked at the readings and felt his stomach drop. "Lyra," he said, alarmed. "Someone's coming. Multiple ships. They're fast and they're armed." Lyra's eyes narrowed. "I feared this. They know of him. They want him." Ethan's grip on Noah tightened. "We need to get him out of here." Noah stirred in his arms. His eyes glowed faintly, reflecting the strange light from the chamber. Ethan felt the energy around him shift, and the room hummed with power. Lyra's hand brushed against his shoulder. "He can help us," she said softly, "but we must guide him. If he panics, the energy could destroy everything here." Ethan nodded. He adjusted his hold on Noah and whispered soothing words. The baby cooed and calmed slightly, the glow dimming but still present. Outside, the enemy ships drew closer. They were sleek, dark vessels, equipped with weapons designed for fast attacks. Ethan could see their trajectory. They would reach the planet in minutes. "Can he fight?" Ethan asked, uncertainty in his voice. Lyra shook her head. "No, not like that, but he can protect, and we must make him trust us completely." Ethan took a deep breath. "All right, little one, time to show what you can do, but stay calm, okay?" Noah looked up at him, and for a moment, it felt like he understood. His small hands reached toward Ethan, and a soft pulse of energy radiated outward. The symbols in the chamber flared again, and the stone walls shimmered as if alive. Ethan could feel the energy surrounding him, wrapping around him and Lyra, forming a protective barrier. The first enemy ship fired. The beam of energy struck the outer ruins, but it did not penetrate the shield formed by Noah's power. Ethan's eyes widened. The baby's instinctive abilities had already created a defense strong enough to hold off advanced weapons. "They're not expecting this," Lyra said, her voice tense but impressed. "He is reacting to danger, but we cannot keep this up forever." Ethan nodded. He looked at the pedestal, at the symbols, and then back at Noah. "We need to move, now." Guided by Lyra, they carried Noah through a hidden tunnel beneath the ruins. The tunnel was narrow, with walls covered in strange inscriptions. Small pulses of energy lit their way as Noah's glow interacted with the stone, revealing carvings that told stories of children with powers like his. "They were like him," Lyra whispered, tracing the symbols with her fingers. "Born to protect, born to heal, born to balance the universe. And he is one of them." Ethan felt a shiver run down his spine. "Then we can't let anyone take him. We have to make sure he survives, no matter what." The tunnel led them to a hidden chamber, a small cave carved naturally into the rock. It was dimly lit, but it had enough space for them to rest and plan. Ethan set Noah down gently, watching as the baby explored the area with wide eyes, his small fingers brushing against the walls. "Safe, for now," Ethan said, breathing heavily. "But they'll keep coming. We need a plan." Lyra nodded. "We can use the planet. It has energy channels beneath the surface. If we guide him, he can manipulate them to hide, to defend, to escape. But it will take focus." Ethan looked at Noah, who cooed and reached out with glowing hands. The baby's power was instinctive, but it was growing stronger every hour. Ethan realized that they were running out of time. Each passing moment made Noah more capable, but also more noticeable. Hours passed as they explored the underground tunnels. Lyra taught Ethan how to recognize energy flows, how to guide Noah's instinctive responses, and how to create safe zones where the baby could rest without accidentally harming anything. At one point, Noah's small hands brushed against a stream of glowing water that ran through a tunnel. The water lifted into the air, forming spirals around the baby. Ethan and Lyra watched in awe as Noah giggled, fascinated by the shapes he created. "He learns fast," Lyra said softly, "and he feels joy in what he does. That is why he is so powerful. His emotions guide him more than any training could." Ethan nodded, watching Noah spin the glowing water streams into patterns that floated like ribbons in the air. "Then we have to make sure he stays happy, safe, and curious. That's his strength." Suddenly, the ground shook. Ethan stumbled, catching himself on a wall. Lyra tensed, her eyes scanning the tunnel's entrance. "They've found us," she said. "They are entering the cave." Ethan scooped Noah up instinctively. The baby's glow flared, and the energy around them pulsed. Ethan could feel it vibrating through his body, reacting to his fear and determination. The mercenaries burst into the chamber. Their weapons were advanced, designed to track energy signatures. But when they raised their guns, a pulse of energy from Noah knocked them backward. The rocks in the cave rattled, and small pieces floated into the air, suspended by the baby's power. "They underestimated him," Lyra said. "He reacts faster than they can think. But they will adapt." Ethan tightened his grip on Noah. "Then we keep moving. We keep him safe." As they navigated the tunnels, Noah's power continued to protect them. Energy shields formed instinctively, debris floated to block attacks, and the baby's giggles became their strange armor. Lyra guided Ethan through hidden passages, past ancient machinery and tunnels filled with glowing symbols, all designed to interact with children like Noah. Hours later, they reached a larger underground chamber. It was a vast space, filled with strange devices that hummed softly. Energy channels ran across the floor and walls, pulsing with the same rhythm as Noah's glow. "This is it," Lyra said. "This place will teach him. Here he can learn control, and here he can become what he is meant to be." Ethan set Noah down gently. The baby looked around, fascinated by the glowing channels and devices. His tiny hands reached out, and the energy responded, lifting objects and lighting up pathways. Ethan felt a mix of relief and awe. For the first time, they were not just running from danger, they were preparing for what was to come. Noah would grow stronger, more aware, and with their guidance, he could harness his power to protect not just himself, but the galaxy. Outside, the enemy ships waited, circling the planet like vultures. But inside, in this ancient chamber, Ethan and Lyra had a sanctuary. And Noah, the small, glowing child, was already beginning to understand that he was not alone, that he had allies who would protect him no matter what. Ethan knelt beside the baby, brushing a strand of silver hair from Lyra's face as she adjusted the energy channels. "We'll get through this," he whispered. "You, me, and Lyra. No one will hurt you, and someday you'll understand how strong you are." Noah cooed, reaching out with tiny glowing hands, and for a moment, the energy of the planet seemed to respond, pulsing brighter and faster, as if acknowledging its new protector. Ethan smiled. "Then let's start teaching you." Ethan Brooks watched Noah carefully as the baby explored the glowing energy channels in the chamber. The small streams of light twisted and turned around the baby's hands, responding to his movements. Lyra guided Ethan through the space, pointing out the patterns and symbols etched into the walls. "This place was made for him," Lyra said softly, "for children like him. It holds knowledge, history, and guidance. The archive will show us why he is here." Ethan nodded. He looked down at Noah, who giggled as he reached for a floating orb of light. The baby's energy pulsed brighter with excitement, illuminating the chamber like a tiny sun. Ethan felt a mixture of pride and fear. Noah was powerful beyond imagination, but he was still a baby. One wrong move, one burst of uncontrolled energy, and they could be in serious danger. "We need to start carefully," Ethan said. "We need to teach him control, but also protect him from himself." Lyra agreed. "Yes, the first step is understanding. Noah must see the connection between his feelings and his power. That is the key." Noah cooed and waved his hands, lifting small stones and fragments into the air. Ethan and Lyra watched as the energy formed patterns in the chamber, almost like a language. Lyra traced the designs with her fingers. "These symbols tell a story," she explained. "They tell the story of children born with the power to shape worlds. They were rare, but when one appeared, it changed the course of civilizations. Noah, he is the first in centuries." Ethan felt a chill. "So he's not just special, he's unique." "Yes," Lyra said, "and that is why others will try to take him. But he is stronger than they know, and he will learn." For hours, they guided Noah through simple exercises. Lyra taught him to lift objects slowly, to control the flow of energy around him, and to focus on shapes and patterns. Ethan kept him calm, speaking softly, holding him steady, and praising him when he succeeded. Noah's laughter filled the chamber as he learned to move small stones in intricate patterns. The energy flowed more smoothly now, responding to his intent rather than his instinct. Ethan realized that even though Noah was still a baby, he was learning faster than anyone could have imagined. But outside the planet, the threat had not disappeared. The mercenary ships circled like predators, waiting for any chance to strike. Ethan's sensors detected them continuously, and he felt a rising tension with every passing hour. They won't give up, Ethan said quietly. They know about him now. They know he is powerful. Lyra nodded. Yes, but we have an advantage here. The planet's energy responds to him, and this place, the archive, it can protect him if he learns to connect with it. Ethan glanced at Noah, who was now sitting up, tiny hands glowing as he traced shapes in the air. The baby's power was raw, but it was beautiful, almost alive. Ethan wondered what would happen when Noah realized the full extent of his abilities. Do you think he'll ever understand? Ethan asked softly. Lyra looked at him. Eventually. But understanding will take time. For now, he feels it. He knows he can do things others cannot. That is enough. As the day passed, they discovered a hidden doorway in the chamber, marked with more symbols. Lyra traced her fingers along the edge, and the doorway opened with a soft hum. Beyond it lay a vast room filled with floating holograms, strange machinery, and glowing panels that pulsed with energy. This is the core of the archive, Lyra whispered. Everything is here. History, knowledge, guidance, and it is connected to him. He will learn what he is meant to do. Ethan stepped inside carefully, holding Noah. The baby's glow intensified, reacting to the energy in the room. Holographic images rose from the floor, showing children like Noah, humans and aliens alike, shaping worlds with their abilities. Some were small, like Noah, and others had grown older, their powers refined and controlled. Ethan's breath caught. So he's not alone. Others have done this before him. Lyra nodded. Yes, but none have been fully human like him. That is why he is different. Humans have a strength of mind and heart that makes his abilities unique. He can do things no one else can. Noah reached out toward the holograms, and a ripple of energy spread through the room. The images shifted, showing scenes of planets being healed, ecosystems restored, and entire civilizations thriving. The baby's laughter echoed, and Ethan realized that Noah was reacting to the images, understanding them in his own way. This is incredible, Ethan whispered. He's seeing the possibilities. He's learning already. Lyra smiled. Yes, and he will grow stronger with each lesson. But we must continue to protect him. The danger is not gone. The mercenaries will not stop. Ethan's hand tightened around Noah. Then we'll fight if we have to. No one takes him from us. Outside, the mercenary ships made their move. Small attack drones launched from the ships, moving quickly toward the planet's surface. Ethan watched the readings and felt a surge of determination. They're here, he said. They want him now. Lyra touched Noah gently. He can help us, but we must guide him carefully. His power responds to his feelings. If he is afraid, it could be dangerous. Ethan nodded. He knelt beside the baby, speaking softly. It's okay, Noah. We're safe. You can do this. Just follow me and Lyra. We'll protect you. The baby's glow intensified, and Ethan felt the energy pulse through the floor beneath them. The attack drones approached the planet's surface, but as Noah reached out, waves of energy spread outward. The drones were lifted into the air, spinning uncontrollably, and then dropped harmlessly into the forest. They didn't expect that, Lyra said, her eyes wide. He is reacting instinctively, but he is learning fast. Ethan smiled despite the tension. He's amazing. The battle continued for hours. Each time the drones attacked, Noah instinctively raised shields, lifted obstacles, or redirected energy. Lyra guided him, showing him how to focus, and Ethan helped calm him when the energy surged too strongly. By the end of the day, the mercenaries had retreated, realizing they could not approach the planet without risking their ships. The Starhawk's sensors showed them leaving the area, and Ethan felt a heavy sigh of relief. He's safe for now, Ethan said, holding Noah close. But they'll be back. We can't stay here forever. Lyra nodded. Yes, but we have given him a place to learn, to grow, to understand his power. That is more than they expected. And it will give us time. Noah yawned, tired from the excitement. Ethan gently laid him in a soft cradle they had set up in the chamber. The baby's glow dimmed slightly as he slept, but Ethan could still feel the energy pulsing softly, like a heartbeat. Tomorrow, Ethan said quietly, we continue. We teach him more, and we prepare for whatever comes next. Lyra placed a hand on his shoulder. He will learn to control it, and when he does, he will be stronger than anyone could imagine. But we must always be ready. The galaxy will challenge him, and we must protect him. Ethan looked at the sleeping baby, a mixture of pride and worry in his eyes. Noah was more than a child. He was hope, potential, and power all in one, and Ethan knew that the journey ahead would not be easy. But as he watched Noah's tiny chest rise and fall in sleep, Ethan felt a spark of confidence. They were not alone. They had each other. And together, they could face anything. For the first time, Ethan understood the true weight of what they were protecting. Noah's power was not just a gift. It was a responsibility. It was a chance to heal worlds, to protect life, and to show that humans could do what no one else could. And as the baby slept, glowing softly in the chamber, Ethan promised himself that he would do everything in his power to keep him safe, to teach him, and to help him grow into the being he was meant to be. The archive had begun to reveal its secrets, and Noah's true purpose was slowly coming into focus. But the galaxy outside was still dangerous, and the mercenaries would not give up easily. Ethan knew one thing for certain. They had survived the first trial. But many more were coming, and when those trials arrived, they would face them together, human, alien, and child united by courage, hope, and the extraordinary power of the human spirit. Ethan Brooks woke to the soft glow of Noah's energy filling the chamber. The baby sat up, tiny hands reaching toward the pulsing lights around him. Ethan smiled, though the weight of what was coming pressed on him. Today, he knew, would be different. Lyra moved silently beside him, her eyes sharp and alert. "They are coming," she said softly. "I can feel it. The mercenaries have returned, and they are bringing more than ships this time. They will try to take him." Ethan nodded, holding Noah close. "Then we show them why they can't. We protect him no matter what." Noah cooed and laughed, reaching out with glowing hands. The energy in the chamber responded instantly, swirling around him in intricate patterns. Ethan felt it vibrating through the floor, filling the room with a warmth that was both comforting and powerful. "They will not expect this," Lyra said, watching the energy carefully. "But we must guide him. If he panics, the power could be too strong to control." Ethan looked at Noah, smiling. "It's okay, little one. We're here. You don't need to be afraid. Just do what comes naturally." Outside, the mercenary fleet approached the planet in force. Ethan's sensors showed dozens of fast ships, each armed with energy weapons designed to destroy any obstacle. But as they neared, they felt something strange. The planet itself seemed to resist them. Energy waves pulsed from the surface, making their ships shake and falter. "They're feeling his power," Lyra said, "even from this distance. But it is not enough to stop them." Ethan's hands tightened around the controls. "Then we face them. We show them what we can do." Noah's glow intensified, bright enough to light the entire chamber. Ethan watched in awe as the energy began to extend beyond the walls, flowing through the underground tunnels and reaching toward the surface. The planet pulsed with life, responding to the baby's instinctive power. "It's incredible," Ethan whispered. He's not just a baby. He's the planet's guardian in a way." Lyra nodded. "He will learn, and today he will see what he is truly capable of." The first mercenary ships fired. Beams of energy struck the planet, but Noah's instinctive shield flared, stopping them before they reached the surface. Rocks and debris floated into the air, forming barriers that twisted and shifted with Noah's small gestures. "They underestimated him," Lyra said. "They don't know he can do more than just defend. They don't know what he will become." Ethan gritted his teeth. Then it's time they learned. He led Noah and Lyra through a series of hidden tunnels beneath the planet, toward an ancient chamber at the heart of the ruins. This place had been hidden for centuries, a core of energy designed to connect with children like Noah. As they approached, the energy responded to the baby's presence, swirling around him like a living river of light. Noah reached out with tiny hands, and the energy pulsed in response. Ethan watched, stunned, as the power began to lift massive stones, rearranging the chamber into a protective formation. Lyra guided him, her voice soft but firm. "Focus, Noah. You can do this. You can protect yourself and us. You are ready." The baby giggled, and the energy flared brighter than ever. Outside, the mercenaries launched their final attack. Dozens of ships fired simultaneously, their beams striking the planet with immense force. But the energy from Noah spread across the surface, forming barriers that deflected the blasts. Mountains shimmered as if alive, rivers of energy rising to shield the ruins. "They won't get through," Ethan said, amazed. "Not with him like this." Noah's glow intensified, reacting to Ethan's words. He laughed and clapped his hands, and the energy expanded beyond the planet's surface, creating a dome of light that blocked the attacking ships. Ethan could feel it vibrating through his body, a powerful force tied to courage, hope, and the human spirit. "They will try again," Lyra said, watching the ships. "But they will fail. His power is growing faster than they can understand." Ethan nodded. "Then we give him everything he needs. We guide him." For hours, the battle continued. Every time the mercenaries tried to strike, Noah instinctively responded, lifting obstacles, redirecting energy, and forming protective barriers. Lyra guided him, showing him how to focus and control his power, while Ethan kept him calm with gentle words and steady hands. Noah's laughter became their armor. His instinctive understanding of energy, combined with the guidance of Ethan and Lyra, created a force stronger than any weapon the mercenaries had brought. The ships faltered, some crashing into the planet, others retreating in fear. "They can't win," Lyra said finally, her voice calm now. "Not against him." Ethan looked at Noah, who now sat in the center of the chamber, glowing brightly. The energy around him pulsed like a heartbeat, spreading across the ruins and connecting with the symbols on the walls. Ethan realized that the baby's power was not just defensive, it was creative. It could heal, protect, and restore. "This is incredible," Ethan whispered. "He's shaping the world around him." Lyra smiled. "And he will continue to grow. He is learning control. Soon he will understand everything he can do." Noah reached out with glowing hands and touched a large stone tablet in the chamber. The energy surged, forming a holographic image of a starry map showing planets, civilizations, and energy lines that connected them all. Noah giggled and waved his hands, and the energy shifted, illuminating safe paths, hidden dangers, and places in need of help. Ethan watched in awe. "He's seeing it all. He knows what to do." Lyra nodded. "He is not just powerful. He is intelligent, curious, and compassionate. That is why he is human. That is why his power is different. He can choose to protect, to heal, to guide." Outside, the remaining mercenary ships retreated completely, unable to breach the dome of energy. Ethan felt a wave of relief, though he knew it was temporary. There would always be threats, but for now, Noah was safe, and his abilities had proven stronger than anyone had imagined. Ethan knelt beside Noah, brushing a strand of silver hair from Lyra's face as she adjusted the energy channels. "You did it," he whispered. "You protected everyone. You're amazing." Noah cooed, reaching out with glowing hands, and the energy of the planet pulsed in response. Ethan realized that this was only the beginning. Noah's power was not just a gift, it was a responsibility. He could heal planets, protect civilizations, and inspire hope across the galaxy. Lyra placed a hand on Ethan's shoulder. "He will grow into it, and when he does, he will be stronger than anyone could imagine. Humans have a spirit that no one else has. That is why he is special." Ethan nodded, watching the baby's glow pulse rhythmically. "Then we teach him, we guide him, and we make sure he never loses sight of who he is." Noah reached up toward Ethan, tiny hands glowing with energy. Ethan held him close, feeling the warmth and power radiate from the baby. He thought about all the challenges ahead, the dangers, the enemies, the mysteries of the galaxy. But he also felt hope. They had survived the first great test. Noah had shown his power, but more importantly, he had shown his heart. The human qualities within him, curiosity, courage, empathy, were what made his abilities unique. They were what would allow him to grow into a protector, a healer, and a guide. Lyra smiled, her eyes shining. "He has learned much today. But there is more to learn. The archive will continue to teach him, and we will continue to guide him." Ethan nodded. "And we will be ready for whatever comes next, together." Noah cooed again, reaching out with glowing hands, and the chamber responded, lights dancing around him like stars. Ethan realized then that they were witnessing the beginning of something extraordinary. The baby was not just a child, he was hope, power, and the future all in one. And as they watched him, glowing and laughing, Ethan understood the truth Lyra had been teaching him all along. Humans were not just fragile creatures of flesh and bone. Their spirit, their courage, and their heart could shape the universe in ways no one else could. Noah's power was the proof, and the galaxy would never be the same.